I think,
Fortunately, we'll miss that little rendition there on the recording.
well, yeah. I don't see any, or do we have any guests on the
So
line?
I expect that we do on the call. I was emailed right before the meeting about an hour ago about some potential guests from the Tri-Boroughs Joint Planning Commission. So those that may be on the call from that group, feel free to introduce yourselves. The floor is yours. Oh, looks like they're, let's see, there we go.
Here we go.
Hello, my name is Dionysia Dingler, and I am on the Tri-Boroughs Joint Planning Commission representing Bellevue. And I think I recognized another name on the list, Damien, I think is also here. So I'll let him introduce himself as well if he'd like to. Or not.
Oh, hello, everyone. Hi, everybody. My name is Damien. I'm also on the JPC for Bellevue. So just get to meet everyone here.
Nice to have you here. I have a question. What is the purpose for the Tri-Boroughs Planning Commission? What's your goal? And I have not heard of you, but I've been on planning commissions for years here and zoning boards, so I'm very interested in the Tri-Boroughs planning. It's nice to see that they're tri.
We are a joint planning commission, so it's a joint effort. We have representatives from Bellevue, from Ben Avon, and Avalon that work together. We have a joint zoning ordinances, and we also are pre-planning now for the comprehensive plan, which will be a multi-municipal plan.
Great. We've done with Aleppo and Swickley. Glenn Osborne's done a multi-municipal comprehensive plan twice.
Mhm.
So yes, it's nice for boroughs to get together. I know there's grant money out there to do this work. But since we're so small, you can't have all planning uses. Well, maybe Bellevue can, but it's good to work together. It lets the communities thrive and survive. And when you know what's going on in one community, it does affect another community. So nice to have you here today.
It's good
Welcome.
to be here. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for them? Okay,
All right, roll call.
okay, roll call.
Okay, Aleppo,
Present.
Avalon,
Present.
Bell Acres, Bellevue, Ben Avon,
Here.
Edgeworth, Emsworth, Glen Osborne,
Here.
Glenfield,
Here.
Hayesville,
Here.
Kilbuck,
Here.
Leet,
Here.
Leetsdale, Swickley Heights. That's a quorum.
We don't have Julie's. not
Julie
here.
won't be coming today, no.
Okay, great. It's always good to have a quorum.
Yes.
Makes you feel- There have been years where I've been on the QVCOG and we did not have quorum, so we couldn't pass bills and do the business of the QVCOG. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the April 17, 2024 meeting minutes. I assume everybody had a chance to read those minutes. I'll take a motion to approve.
I move we approve. Second.
Thank you. And any discussion about the minutes? Hearing none, I will take a vote. If you're online, well, I can't see anybody. Raise your hand, but here, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay,
you.
moving on to the next part of our agenda, which is the approval of the financial reports, the unpaid bill list, and the payroll summary. I'm gonna ask Patrick to give us any highlights that he sees. And then I'll,
Yeah, so I think we're in great shape. We just sent out our dues a few months back, got all of those received. We've also received our general fund check from the county in the amount of $7,500 this past month. Both accounts sit at around $140,000, both our savings and our general operating account. A couple bills that you might notice that are a lot out of the ordinary. We have one from the Edgeworth Club, and that's actually for our 2023 annual dinner. So we've been working to get that invoice for many months. That was almost 6 months ago that we had that dinner. So that is why you see that payment out there. We also have a payment to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette for one of our CDBG projects, and that's a reimbursement. We pay that advertisement cost, and then whoever the applicant awardee is ultimately pays us back for it. So everything else, business as usual. I think we're in really good shape financially. Be happy to answer any questions.
Are we going to have the dinner at the same place?
So that's going to come up in the executive director's reports.
Well-
A very good illusion, but yes, we will have the
Yeah.
dinner at the
we
Edgeworth
will
Club.
talk about that.
All right.
A little different. Is the segue there. Anybody else online have any questions?
One last thing too, for the unpaid bills that's already paid. So we have a CD payment for Sewickley Borough in the amount of $250. The way those funds work, when we get it from the county, we have to pay it out in 3 days. So that's already been paid. So we're retroactively approving that payment to Sewickley Borough, the amount of $250.
Great. Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the financial reports, the unpaid bills, and the payroll summary.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye, or raise your hand online if we see.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
I must say, always it's a danger to be here in person. But that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Next is the president's report. And my report this month is that I have, last night was the Glen Osborne Council meeting. And I must say, I've been in many council meetings where I've talked about the Quaker Valley COG because I believe personally in the COG, and that it is an advantage to all communities who belong to the COG. But last night, the council was so impressed by what the COG is doing, the grants that we've been able to achieve. They felt and would like to say to all delegates and members, and I'll be their spokesman as mayor, thank you for all the work you do as delegates. And Patrick, thank you very much for everything you do.
It's my pleasure.
And that is my report.
Thanks. All right, so next up, well, actually mix things up a little bit this year. So Route 65 committee update. So real quick, we met last on April 23rd. We got together with our GIS consultant, Civic Mapper, and discussed a map that we're going to use as a tool that just highlights all of the different stakeholders that we might want to identify when it comes to Route 65 and generating interest and spurring help to really get us to where we want to go, wherever that might be, whether it's infrastructure improvements, promoting materials, things like that. So we have that map. We took a look at it together as a committee. I'd be happy to send it out to the group too. We're actually going to get together again on Friday, and this is going to be about our intergovernmental agreement, which we've heard about for many years. Our solicitor did draft one that we have for consideration. So we're going to take a look at that as a group on Friday, and then we'll have it for the board in June. So it's a real brief document. It's like literally 2 pages, and everyone's sign-on page adds a couple other pages too, but It's brief to the point, utilizes our pamphlet that we had generated last year as generating our talking points, right? The 3 or 4 things that we identified as an organization over the last 5 or 6 years that we really want to focus on. And we want to make sure it's brief, concise, to the point, and no one's gonna get lost reading it, right? So that'll be before the board next month for final approval, and then we can start taking it to the individual towns for consideration, and hopefully everyone's on board. But we can obviously answer any questions and help close any loops if there is any in the coming months.
Okay, next on the agenda is the emergency management.
Barbara, did you want to take that one?
I will take that one. And I know Aleppo is here, not Aleppo, but Hayesville.
Mhm.
And during that meeting, what was presented to Glenn Osborne was an EOP, very detailed as to what to happen. It was, I think Amanda Hayesville also has the same as Glenn Osborne, if I am correct.
Yes, that's correct.
And I don't know if has Glenfield seen it maybe next time?
Paul was in the call,
Paul.
and Joel was in the call too.
Yeah. Paul, have you seen it?
He's not in the meeting today, it's
Oh,
Joel.
he's not.
Mhm.
Anyways, it's what they did, unfortunately, I was not able to attend the meeting, but I've heard about the meeting. Is they went through each little section of the EOP. And it is very detailed, whose responsibilities, what is going to happen. I mean, it is very well done. And it's just the beginning of working with emergency management. I mean, you file this with the county, so we become legal. But it is by working with Glenfield and Hayesville too, we're taking the small communities. So if there is an emergency, we now have a plan as to what to do. Council themselves have said last night, after we reviewed the plan, that they are very excited about it and want to be trained because we're all volunteers. If we're not there, an emergency happens, who takes over? Now, we all know that the police and the fire departments are well versed in emergency plans. And we're going to bring them into the plan and talk to them. But it's a first step. It definitely is a first step.
Yeah, and just to echo that, all 3 towns have delegates, in some cases, multiple delegates on this committee. And the group had a chance to just review each one of their documents. And I think ultimately the goal is to sort of use a unified emergency operations, but there might be a little nuance here, like different contacts and different maybe businesses and things like that might have equipment that's available in each individual town. But it's great to see everyone sharing ideas and probably sharing platforms for the ultimate document. So next meeting for them is going to be on June 6th. So
Right.
coming up.
It started. For sure.
Any other thoughts?
No. I have lost my agenda.
Oh, next up's the grant status report.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this this month. Usually it's something we kind of breeze through, but there's a lot that's been going on in the last month or so, both with community development block grants and our gaming fund grants. And I just wanted to highlight some of the projects that are ongoing. So Bell Acres Borough, they're actually wrapping up a project for an ADA parking spot. We expect to get that paperwork and payment to the contractor probably in the next 30 days or so. So that's a project that's been lingering on this report for a little while, finally coming to a conclusion. Centennial Avenue ADA parking project, ADA ramp replacement project right down the street here in Sewickley. All of the work's done, contractor's been paid. Sewickley Borough, their last installment payment is just in that bills payable we went over. So that project you won't see on here anymore either, so that's great to see. Henley Park ADA parking and sidewalk project. This project set to get started on Friday this week. So again, real quick project, probably a week's worth of work between all the cement and everything, and it'll be wrapped up, weather permitting, in 7 to 10 days. So again, we'll see that conclude next month, but pretty much done with CD 48, which is great. CD 49. So The Lincoln Avenue Streetscape project, this is something this predates me by like 5 years. We are expected to get this project out to bid in the next, I don't know, let's say month or so. I've been working with the borough engineers and the borough manager there to get this started, but it's been a long way to get to this point. And I'm excited to see us almost to the starting line, right? Not to the finish line quite yet, but this project's gonna get started soon. Also, Sewickley Borough ADA Sidewalk Ramp Projects. This is in addition to the last cycle's ADA project. This went out to bid with the winning bid coming in at the amount of $91,500 to No Sweat Services LLC. So this project's probably gonna get kickstarted the coming weeks here. But again, just another project started underway. Almost a dozen ADA ramps will be replaced throughout the borough with that project. Also, that was put out to bid, the Center South Waterline Replacement Project. This is gonna be a dual borough project in Hayesville and Glen Osborne Borough. Over 25 households are gonna get new water lines for this. That's really a great project. Went out to bid on May 9th, with the winning bid coming in just a tick below $500,000 through JetJack. So about $140,000 was awarded through CD money to this project. The rest is through the Sewickley Borough Water Authority. So that'll get kickstarted probably in the coming months here too. But again, it's all the procedural work is done. And that was one of those projects that was lingering around for a little while.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else? We have the Old Sewickley Highland Stormwater Project. That is already out to bid and the contractor is expected to start by the end of the month. Leet Township Park Improvements Project. This is $300,000 for new park equipment in Leet Township, right across from every municipal building. That is going to be open tomorrow, actually, 10 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how the numbers come in for that. I'll certainly inform the township staff and engineers as soon as we get those results. Also, Sewickley Heights Borough, they had their project go out to bid with the bid opening on May 10th. $163,935, which is below the grant award. So also great to see. And just met with Nate today at the managers and secretaries picnic. He expects that contractor to get started in a couple weeks too. So a lot all happening all at once, right? So it's been a busy month or so here, but really excited to see these projects get up and started. And another cycle of gaping grants. Glen Osborne Borough, for example, they're going to get a sanitary sewer line replacement. We finally got the contract from Allegheny County this week, so we can meet with their staff, get that project out to bid, and hopefully have that take place before the fall and winter months. So that's actually the first of the 2023 projects that we got a contract for. So that's one of 5 total. So those will come down the pipeline. Those that may have applied for projects in CD or 50, so these were in August and September that you may have applied for it. We're expecting to get those awards by the end of the month from the county. So those notifications will go out. So by the time we get together in June, barring something strange, which you never know, we should have notification and you'll be aware of which projects are funded in that front too. But yeah, just
A lot of projects.
yeah, I wanted to just
important ones, I think.
wanted to make sure we highlighted that. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I breeze over this report because there's not a lot of changes sometimes, but in the last 30 days, quite a bit of change.
This is the season. Okay, let's go on to the executive director's report.
Okay, so this first one we'll skip over. You know, it was USDA is seeking basically from April's rainfall events information. You know, if you had flooding in your towns, they wanted to know about it. You know, they wanted those submitted by May 17th. Well, that's 2 weeks ago, so or a week ago. So, well, if you didn't submit it, it's too late. So that was in the report. Big news for our recycling fund. Once again, we broke a new record. So we got informed from DEP for our 2022 data. So it's always a couple years behind when you get the award. But we received, we're going to receive payment in the amount of $26,888.34. So that's an increase of $755. Each town that participates, 14 out of 15 do. we'll be receiving their payments as soon as it hits our account. We cut the checks, so probably we'll approve those bills in June for individual payments to the towns for their recycling. The remaining balance goes into our joint recycling fund, which helps pay for our glass dumpsters, helps pay for the hard to recycle event, which is coming up in July at the Leetsdale Industrial Park, and any other joint recycling ventures that we do. So it's always great to see that number climb. And once again, it did again. So today we had our managers and secretaries picnic. I had 17 people turn out, so nice little turnout. We're always in the 15 to 20 range. We had Circle's Bridgeside Market right down the street cater it. So what nice local business. Everyone enjoyed the food. Weather was dry, which was a roll of the
Yeah.
dice. Didn't look so great a few days ago. But yeah, everyone seemed to have a great time. So those that were on the call or those that were there, thank you for attending. And yeah, we'll probably do it again, same way next year. And if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Great location, great food. Rad invoices, those haven't been sent out yet. When I made this report a few weeks ago, I thought I'd have sent out, this not quite yet. So keep an eye out for those. You'll probably see them in your approval for bills payable in your meetings sometime in June. Also, as Art alluded to, the annual dinner, we're gonna put a new spin on things. So obviously in the past, it's been a sit down dinner at the Edgeworth Club. Just trying to think, that and those, please help me out with your thoughts too. But that first hour of the dinner is always what I think is the most interesting. Everyone's just enjoying each other's company, talking, catching up. It might be the first time you see each other for a year, right? And I was saying to myself,
Yeah.
how do we bring that just to make the whole thing just that, right? You don't have to necessarily just talk to the 7 people at your table. You can talk to all 70 people if you so choose. So we're gonna make it a reception, sort of outdoor reception. We're gonna move the timeline from fall into late summer, which also helps me out because dinner always fell in October. That was always our busiest stretch as far as grants and
Yeah.
everything like that. So
Okay.
I knew I didn't want to do it during that time frame. And if it's in the warmer weather, why not bring it outside, right? So August 29th, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, we will be at the Edgeworth Club. It's outdoors and it works out well because Labor Day is that next week, that next Monday. And they're gonna have tents. So even if it does rain, we still have the option to be underneath tents. So nice little backup plan for us.
So that eliminates the acoustics problem.
There won't be any speech. It's just gonna be more.
Yes, it
That
would.
solves the,
That's solve the acoustic problem.
that room there is very pretty, but it is terrible.
Yeah, it's
It
tough.
is.
It's tough to
It
hear.
is. You can't hear. And I think one of the main, as Patrick said, important aspects of this, besides it is a fundraiser for the COG, is for networking. The informal things you learn when you're in a area where people are getting to know one another outside being in a formal meeting is invaluable, in my opinion. So that's why
Okay.
in talking with Patrick, we decided that let's try this. I mean, there's some tricky nuances to this about how do you get your sponsors out, but and I think Roberta did say she would help you with this.
Yeah, as we get closer, I'd love to have any volunteers or anyone that's interested in maybe helping put this on. We can always get together, usually form a little mini committee, but
Yeah.
this should be quite a bit less of a lift on my end. I could really focus on getting sponsors for one and getting people to show up. And that's never a problem, but we can get more. Right, I'm not looking for a speaker. That always took time. I'm not gonna be developing, a 40-page catalog. We're gonna be outside, no one's gonna be flipping through a catalog. Most of the time, people just left those behind anyway. So trying to think of new ideas how we can highlight our sponsors, those that are really paying for the event and helping us raise funds. But it'll just be different, a new vision for it.
It's exciting.
It is,
Yeah, this is the first time we've tried this.
yeah.
Yes, and being outside, I just think lends to informality.
The one thing that will certainly be the same, and I want to highlight, every year we do this, is honoring, a public servant, whether it's an elected official or a staff member. We've done that for the last 3 years. That always seems to be the highlight of the night, right?
Yeah.
So we'll certainly bring that along, and probably the 50-50 raffle for a local, nonprofit or business. But other than that, it's going to be reinvented. We're going to have some new spins and twists on things.
Excited.
Yeah, this is the
Yes.
first time we're trying like that.
Patrick, I'm sorry, it's Roberta from Avalon. Yeah, I'm totally interested in helping out. I love this format. That sounds great. And yeah, I have ideas, but I'll save it. Okay.
Yeah. I love to hear it, and we will.
Absolutely.
We'll form a little committee probably next month, and we'll start from them.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on the new dinner?
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's a shorter period of time. It's from 6 to 8.
Well, it was always 2 hours.
Was it?
Yeah.
Mm. I think a little.
Just seemed
But-
that way.
Yeah. No, I've always enjoyed them, but once you're sitting down at the table having a dinner, it becomes a little more formal.
Yeah,
And this format is a little bit informal, so we'll see how it goes. And we're excited about it, so I hope people will certainly carry that excitement back to your boards, and we'll go on from there, see what, I know Roberta will have something. I knew,
Yeah.
but
So,
moving on, that's part of, we're in new business now, and we're going to talk about, we've been here in the library since the beginning of the year. And actually, I've enjoyed personally being here. This is a smaller format. So for people that are here, you can, you feel more comfortable. It's not the owl just panning the room all the time, and you're very, very small, but also great internet and interactive technology here that makes it easier to have a meeting with, especially a meeting that's hybrid like we've been having. But we're gonna change to Leedsdale for our June meeting.
Okay.
and just to highlight why we're doing a month early, so the library is actually closed on June 19th in recognition of Juneteenth next month.
Yeah,
Our meeting happens to fall on that, June 19th. So, I reached out to the Leedsdale Borough office, and we're scheduled to be there from July until December. So we're just gonna start in June.
Okay.
And then, as Barbara said, that this has been a great venue, and I think maybe towards the end of the year, we sort of come together as a group and figure out, do we want to do the 2 different meeting locations? Or do we want to stick to one, out of the 2 we go to, haven't been to Leedsdale yet, but maybe we want to stay at the library here, just in perpetuity next year. I don't know. So we'll see.
we'll see. We're trying
yeah.
2 different things, the dinner one, the changes of venue number 2. Okay, any other new business?
Can we get a formal motion for the change of location? So I need to like
That's
advertise.
right. Right, you do. I'll take a motion to change locations to Leedsdale. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Great, great. Okay, moving on. Any other new business anybody else would like to bring up? No? Moving on to old business. Patrick, do we have anything from the Route 65 intergovernmental agreement?
Yeah, it's Friday. We're gonna get together with the committee to go over the draft agreement. So
Okay,
we'll have that for the board in June.
I'm sorry, draft agreement for what?
for the Route 65 committee, but
yeah,
it's the intergovernmental
All right,
agreement.
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
let's move on to concerns by delegates.
All right, we'll go around the horn here. We'll start out with Art and Aleppo.
Well, normally we don't have anything. It's well run, it's financed, it's fine, but for those who may have been around for a little while, we have had perpetual problems with our sewage system up there.
Mhm.
Well, actually, the sewage which pumps out to Swickley.
Yeah,
We're opening the bids, I believe, this week on a new pumping station on Deer Run Road. And that's going to be very, very important because we've lived with the current design had German pumps on it. And no one in the United States could repair them.
Oh, wow.
And it's been a nightmare
Did
for
you
a
try
long, for a
Joe
long
Hep?
time.
Yeah.
Did you try Joe Hep?
Should have. Why didn't you bring that up earlier? So anyway, it's gonna be a big project, but we're expecting bids of around $380,000.
Mhm.
So, and of course, never mind, I leave that off. That's it, but that's what we're expecting. We've been planning this for so long. And our engineering company, the companies who are our engineers had a great hand on what it is, how it is, who does it, et cetera, et cetera. So,
How long do you think it'll take before it comes online?
oh, no idea right now.
We're just in the beginning process.
Yeah, we're just on the paperwork part.
All right, Roberta, what's new in Avalon?
We have quite a few things. I'm glad you guys had a great day for your picnic at our mostly new park. I knew you were having that today. I was very excited for you. Yesterday at our monthly full council meeting, we honored our police and fire departments because hold on. Because 2 weeks ago on May 10th, through the night from the 9th to the 10th, we had a very large house fire about 2 blocks away from my house, and it destroyed one house. And there were the two houses on either side were also fairly badly damaged. And so we honored our police and we have volunteer fire department here in Avalon. They did a fabulous job. They were on the scene all night and all morning. And the one house had a 95-year-old woman. Our policeman went in and rescued her. And she also came to our meeting last night, and she thanked the firemen and policemen as well, and said that she's 95 and she probably will not be able to ever return to her house, which was really sad. But she said she's moved in with her son and daughter-in-law, and she seemed like she was very much enjoying it. So, and nobody was hurt. I mean, a policeman was hurt a bit, but so we did a proclamation to honor all of them last night. So that was really nice. And I don't know if I told you guys this last month or not, our new playground across from the Borough building finally opened. That was done with grant money. It's also the Avalon Elementary School's playground during the school day. It's actually owned by the borough, and they're right next door to each other. And I had a question, Barbara, about about you guys in Glenfield and Hayesville and everyone that would be trapped by the railroads if there were another incident per se. What about the Coast Guard? Because don't we have a station up in Swickley? Would they be able to help you guys?
There is a Coast Guard station, but they're not there all the time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, they certainly can help us, but being as we would not be their primary job, they do go up and down the Ohio River and place buoys, and sometimes months at a time, there's nobody there at the Coast Guard.
Oh.
It is somebody there at the station, but no boat there. At the Coast
Okay.
Guard.
And then also, incidentally, that weekend of May 10th when the fire was here, my family and I went out of town, And we took our Newfie down to Glenfield to for a dog sitter. And I really realized how like claustrophobic it is down there. I was like, wow. Right across the street from your house is the railroad tracks, and then your backyard is the river. And they very much enjoyed it and said when the trains aren't running, it's very weird. But yeah, it gave me new pause for your little neighborhoods out there.
Yeah.
All right, Tavia, what's new in Ben Avon?
I don't think we have anything this month.
Very good. Barbara?
Glenn Osborne. We are solvent. We're doing well. We're excited about the grant because this is the first grant that Glenn Osborne has ever received.
Congratulations.
So, yes, it was almost when we were awarded the grant that nobody knew what to do.
Yeah.
But, yes, but I think Glenn Osborne is and has been willing, so willing, and getting to know Hayesville and Glenfield and Aleppo and working with our neighboring communities has been very important to us. Because without that, we would not be able to really survive as well as we are. So I just will say this, that we did find, we had a stop sign put in on Beaver Road. And we had people that went through that stop sign and even coming up McNown. And so we asked the police to monitor that area. And in 2 days, they gave 125 tickets. Now, we were astounded. But it's amazing. I mean, I had no idea. Number one, that many people would be going through that area.
Love to stop sign.
Yeah. And that's the Glenn Osborne report.
Very good. Joel, what's new in Glenfield? We'll come back to him. All right, Amanda, what's new in Hayesville?
I don't have much to report on. We are still working on our bid specs for the River Road project. We thought that we had what we needed and we set it out to bid and we got some really good bids on that. However, we realized our bid specs were not quite correct yet, so we had to resend everything. And so we're still trying to work on that. But I also wanted to kind of make a note on the whole emergency planning thing as well, that it's really great that the three of our boroughs are working together on getting that addressed and coming together and resolving that, because it's definitely an issue that we need to address, these little boroughs that are right between the railroad tracks and the river. So it's really nice to see everyone kind of working together on that.
Yeah, and to sort of add to that, the grant and the bridge repair, we're set to meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. to go over the pre-bid sort of process. I do appreciate the eagerness of the borough, but we will get that on track, and the county is more than willing to sort of expedite this after we got that letter from you guys about some of the damages that have happened with the rain and washouts. So we should be up and running with that bid wise, you know, within the month. By the time we get together next time in June, we should be well on our way for that.
That's great.
Joel, I think I saw you unmute. You're up. I think there might be some technical difficulties. See, he keeps unmuting and then muted. We'll come back around. Daryl.
Skill button is pretty slow. We have a couple of projects we're trying to work with other boroughs joining us. Ben Avon Borough, we're trying to get together and repair Avon Park, resurface the tennis court and turn it into a pickleball court, and then potentially re-roof the thing there, picnic pavilion. So we're trying to work with them to, even though it's their park, it's physically in Kilbuck Township. So we're trying to work with them to get some repairs there. And then there's a road that is shared, Courtney Mill Road, right down the center of the road. Half of it's Ben Evan Heights, half of it's Kilbuck. And we repaved ours years ago. They weren't interested in partnering with us to pave theirs. So down the middle, this side is nice and smooth, and this side is like the moon. So we're agreeable with them to just repave the whole thing and split the costs and make it right. So we're working on that project as well.
God bless.
So I don't know. Ben Evan Heights isn't part of a COG anywhere, do you know?
They are not a part of our COG or any COG, so that's one of the great mysteries. If
They're
you look,
non-COGers.
if you look at a map of our region, I could even pull it up. There's two little gray blobs. Like we have like our zoning map. So there's Ben Avon Heights and then Swickley Hills, kind of gobbled up by.
I will talk.
by our
I will
little
talk.
town. I'd love to have them on
So-
board.
so I've been speaking with them, so I'll
Yeah,
talk to their mayor, president, whatever they have in Ben Evan Heights. It's so
Yeah.
tiny. Tiny. So,
but yeah, I think we would be a resource for them. I'm not saying
I think so too.
I'm not going to make anyone do it, but I think we'd be a great resource for a small town like that. So
Yeah.
All right. I see that Maria from Leedsdale jumped on here. Maria, what's new in the borough?
Yes, hello. Sorry I was late. I had issues with my little one here. Well, so first of all, I wanted to start by saying that our local government academy intern has started his project with us. His name is Ted Altmira, and he is also at the meeting. So we welcome Ted in the office. And Ted is going to be working on a code enforcement handbook for the community, helping us draft a historic preservation ordinance and update our website and just help out in other ways. And Shadow Borough Secretary learn more about how Borough operates. So I'm really excited to have Ted on board. Other than that, our news are we just opened bids for the Washington Street realignment project. This is if like a long time ago, like not super long time ago, but a few years ago, we took down a bridge that connected the residential area of Leedsdale, known as Washington Street, that is like on the other side of the railroad tracks in a budding industrial area where we are, and Beaver Street, right before Ambridge. And so many of you, I'm sure, still like drove on that bridge. Well, and it's not there anymore. Nevertheless, on the other side of the tracks, there is still a sizable hump on the road where the old bridge used to be, and that is blocking the way of those who drive on Washington Street. And like basically you don't see any oncoming traffic, and there's a stop sign that some people don't necessarily follow. So that is a safety hazard, and now we're going to straighten the road there to improve the overall access in that area. So we just opened the bids for this, and we're going to think over which bid to accept. So that work was funded through partially through grant money. We are going to be opening the splash pad in Henley Park on it will be open I think for a day on Memorial Day, and then we'll officially open for the start of the season on May 31st. So free access to water recreation for the Quaker Valley School District area for all the municipalities, QVCOG. So everybody's welcome to that. We will have library activities for the families on a regular basis throughout the summer. And family story time, story walk, and a book bus will be stopping there a few times as well. We're planning some other summer activities and movies in the park. So everybody, again, please keep it on your calendars, keep it on your back burners. You're looking someplace to do, someplace to go or with a family over this time. However, we are still looking for somebody to work on our concession stand there. Would be 12 noon to 6 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, weather permitting, with an hourly pay of $12 an hour. So perfect job for a older teenager, maybe somebody home for the summer, selling snacks and just being there in the concession stand while the splash pad is open. So keep in mind if you I guess like keep in mind if there's somebody in your community who you think is maybe looking for something like that for the summer. The splash pad this year, we're looking to open it Thursday through Sunday, not all week like last time, because the water bill last time has been pretty tremendous, and we still haven't figured out how to effectively lower it, or effectively lower the price we are paying for that. So again, maybe any of you has thoughts or ideas on that, that would be great as well to hear. And we are also on our June meeting are going to have a public hearing on a few zoning ordinance amendments that we've been working on. Some adjustments to our zoning definitions and creation of new buffer zone in the industrial area. That's something that is supported by our comprehensive plan, and long-term would help guide development in the area in a way that would make it more friendly to the residential pocket, the Washington Street mentioned before, that was there. So we're looking to have a public hearing before our council meeting at 6:30, second week in June. And then, so this has been in the works for a while and passed my multiple reviews, and it's consistent with our comprehensive plan. And I already talked about summer projects that we're going to be working on with our local government academy intern. And last but not least, we've been a few times recently, we've been mentioned in the paper for items of like general community interest. So we put a historical marker that our junior council representative has researched and created to acknowledge and memorialize Victory Gardens, first community gardens created in this area before World War I, that eventually became Victory Gardens, supported by the World War II program, federal program, educationally supported. It was done by the people in the community. And a donation of an old bell from an old fire truck has this old bell has found its way back, and still was donated by the family that ended up purchasing that one of the first trucks when it was it went up on an auction, was replaced and purchased by a collector. But the family kept the old bell that was used here 100 years ago, and now it was donated back to the department for display and enjoyment. So so those are some nice community events that really make it, it really just acknowledges local history and celebrates it. And that really is a nice part of being here, being part of this community.
Very good. And thank you for Ted for coming out to the meeting tonight. He's, as Maria mentioned, he's Leechdale's LGA intern. Ted, if you're on the call still, feel free to introduce yourself to the group here. Just a little background, maybe your school you're at, and what got you interested in local government.
Yeah, of course, no problem. Thank you for having me. I'm currently a junior at Grove City College studying political science. And yeah, I've always kind of had an interest, and that was a career path, was to do local government. And so I found the local government academy and got an internship at Leedsdale, and just very excited to work with Maria during the summer and accomplish a lot. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, great. Donna, I think you're last up.
Let's see. Leeds pretty quiet. We're ecstatic, of course, about the grant and getting that park project going, because also along with that, we're doing a war memorial. And so bids are going to go out to a few different places and see what the designs could amount to. Otherwise, it is quiet.
Very good.
So how
That's a
did
good
the
thing.
flood affect the
Well,
the
that
rain that we had?
that was, we had the 2-week period. We had the first rainfall.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, we had the greater rainfall. And the first time it occurred, our emergency management coordinator was out of town, so he called me and asked if I could fill in. So, whatever. But it ended up as high as the creek got. It was okay. The 1-2 weeks later, though, he and I both met down at the creek, And, you know, the firemen, the ones that have been there for a long time, you hear them saying, all you can really do is stand here and watch.
Yeah.
And that is true. However, now at our disposal, we have the alert systems. And those were used to keep, you know, the area residents up to date, what to prepare for. And it just, as many times as I've seen it, the force of nature is incredible. The water had to have been moving a good 40 miles an hour down that creek. And it was at least, if not 10 feet deep. More than that, I mean, there's no way to measure it. But we did have flooded basements, we did, you have a few things like that. But again, when you live in a floodplain, doesn't make it any easier when these events occur. These folks are steadfast, they're strong, they help each other.
That's
You know,
true.
our community helped as well, the township, and yeah, until the next time. That's all.
All right, anybody that didn't have a chance to speak, floor is yours. Oh, Dan,
Hey,
you're on the call now. Go ahead.
What was that?
The floor is yours, sir.
Oh, hey, Patrick. Sorry, joined late. So Dan McKelvey here from Bellevue. I think the big thing for us right now is we're discussing implementing a new QRS system with our paid fire department. The first and foremost would, respond to Bellevue calls. But then if the team was available, they would respond outside of our borough. And then we're working on bids for our next phase of streetscape. And then lastly, we put in some grant applications to possibly extend our streetscape even further down Lincoln Avenue. So more to come on that.
Oh, nice.
And just to sort of piggyback off that topic, Bellevue's Lincoln Avenue is actually highlighted in, was it USA Today, Dan?
Yeah.
For like the top streetscape and anywhere. They got some national recognition, so that's great to see. And as we talked about in the grant report, really excited to see that project get started and sort of wrapped up with the last phase here of the CD money.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else that I didn't get to?
Yeah, Patrick, it's Roberta
Yeah.
from Avalon. Just to talk about Bellevue one more time. We also have the fabulous Bellevue's Farmer Market coming up. The first date is June 5th. It's Wednesdays 3 to 7 on the grounds of the Bain Library. And I know Dan's been there. I used to help run it. It's just really such a great event for all of us. So I hope that everyone can make it down at some point this summer. We've got food trucks and music, and there's a big playground if you want to bring your kids. So sorry, I get really excited about it every year, even though I'm not helping with it anymore. So
Very good. All right, last call.
One more note.
Yeah.
That triggered my sleepy memory. Lee Township is having a community yard sale the last weekend in June. So I think it's 29th and 30th. So check the dates.
Great.
That's it.
All right, going once. Going twice.
Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
How about we adjourn?
All right.
I'll take a second.
Second.
All in
Thank you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned, and thank you all for coming.
All right, thanks everybody. 8 o'clock on the dot. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, as always, for taking care of everything.
Oh, no problem.